Welcome, welcome. We're gonna be getting all the bucket endings. Alright, let's do this. I feel like what just happened? This is the first game, except with balloons.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh
What
my
could it
gosh.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
With little things added. Give me my bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
This is my bucket. This bucket belongs to me. Supposedly, anyway. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel reassured, actually. I feel like, a little confused, in fact. Because it feels like we're just repeating the first game with little tidbits here and there.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What? Do I do this? Do I want to go there? Okay, fine, whatever.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
Wait.
was the place to be.
The bucket is telling me to go here. I followed
And
the
here
bucket's
it
will.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Thank you, Bucket, for telling me where to go.
No, never mind. The bucket was
What?
wrong. Stanley took the door
How
on
was
his
it?
left to go back to the meeting room.
I'm not going that way. I'm going this way.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Thank you, Bucket. Huh? Ooh, secrets. It's a collectible. Hold up. A shiny collectible.
Found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these.
What?
Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
What is happening with this game? This game is going. It's gone nuts. How is this defying physics? I just realized that this doesn't make sense. I should not be able to walk on these planks. You know what? Don't question it. Just go into the vent. Where am I? Oh, this is new. Yep, things have definitely changed for the better. I don't know. It's just a lot of cassettes. I hit this. Oh,
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number. I don't even know.
somebody
I've
lose
lost
their mind.
track.
Somebody was locked down
Nothing
there.
feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel
What is happening?
every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
The bucket is not that great.
And
It's
the
just a bucket.
emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't
It's
make
just a bucket.
sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so. What do I do with this treasure?
What is this monkey palm bucket that they're just
I
talking about?
can monetize it.
What?
Yes.
Bucket DLC?
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour
The heck
with
is
the
going on?
bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful. Because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back.
It's just a bucket.
Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that?
It's just a
Who's
bucket.
there? Camporata.
What the hell is happening? It's just a freaking bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
So you can
Perhaps
find
he
another
had
ending.
simply missed a memo.
Get my
The
bucket.
confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
It's my happy bucket. It provides me with the happiness source. All are welcome with the bucket. All are welcome. The grace of the mighty bucket. Where am I?
Stanley clutched
Stanley
the bucket
went to the
tightly
right
his
door.
chest. This was not the correct
This
way
was
to
the correct
meeting
way
room.
to the meeting room
But Stanley
because I'm
had
going
felt
this
the
way.
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
I could go
to
that way, but
back to
no.
the meeting room,
There's another ending I need. 2 endings this
No.
way at least.
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
here.
else. The cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you
Tempted
to
to go
do.
that way, but we'll just go this way.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Take me to more adventure, bucket. I believe in you.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Yeah, tell me where to go, bucket. Show me to adventure. New things to go, bucket, bucket, bucket.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Should I do this ending? Ah, sure, why not? Excuse you?
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Where's my bucket? Where's my bucket? You took it from me, my friend, my only friend in this desolate story. Is there anything for me to interact with? I don't see a bucket. I need a bucket. Give me Mr. Bucket. You put your... Never mind. I was gonna go too weird there. Is there anything for me to interact with? Hello? Oh, Bucket, how you doing? I miss you. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your Bucket. Press up on the D-pad to take me to work with you. No, Bucket. Let's stay here and just acknowledge this beautiful home that we have together. My perfect Bucket. Oh, how I missed you, darling. I missed you so. I see that you were brewing coffee for me. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can trust you for always, my Bucket. Man, we have a small apartment, don't we, Mr. Bucket? Let's just sit down here on our nice chair and just enjoy the scenery together. So how was your day? Oh,
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide
Hey.
the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
got the bucket in apparently. My Bucket, I miss you. Let's go home. Let's go home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
This is my Bucket. You can't take it from me. No one will.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
But the bucket's been with me for so long. It told me to go into the room. It told me to pick up the phone. If I can't trust the bucket, who can I trust? I can't trust anybody. Only one I can trust is my bucket. Oh, there you are. Don't listen to the loud man, Mr. Bucket. Let's go home. Let's go home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
The bucket doesn't insult me like you. There's only one for me, and it's the bucket. You may be jealous, but you cannot rip us apart. Our love is eternal.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to
It does. You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Let's go home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Where's
It's
my
just a
bucket?
little more...
That's a basket.
What am I trying to say? Sturdier.
There we
more
go.
capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press X to relive the same day with me over and over. The narrator's trying to tear us apart, and he sounds like he's trying to take you over. I won't let him have you. You're mine.
Oh my God, what am I saying?
My bucket.
Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's
It
literally
is.
just a bucket.
It's my bucket.
Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it's special. It's the perfect bucket made for transferring liquids from one room to another. And it speaks to me.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket.
No.
No.
Ah,
What's
there you
going
are,
on?
my
Why do I
luscious
want to be
bucket?
with the bucket? Hear
Come
what
to
the
me.
bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing.
No.
Yes.
Get away from my
It could
bucket.
tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give
No.
me the bucket. Give
It's
it to
my
me.
bucket.
Give me the
You can't
bucket,
have my
Stanley.
bucket.
I need it. Give it to
No.
me now. Give it, or I'll...
No. Where's my bucket? Go back to work, Stanley. Go back to work. Was it all just a dream? A freaking insane dream? What the heck are these endings? Where's my bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Whoa, this is definitely
What
different.
could it mean?
Ah,
Stanley
there you
decided to
are.
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
My bucket.
Warmth spread
Spread
through
through
Stanley's
Stanley's
arms.
arms.
With the bucket in his arms again, Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
This is my
But
bucket.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling
Made
to
for
him,
you and
telling him
me.
that the employee lounge was simply the place to
This
be.
is my
And
bucket,
here it was. Had
made
the
for
bucket turned out
just
to be
me.
correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
The bucket is
Stanley took the
never
door on his
wrong.
left to go.
You can't take the bucket from me. It's me. It's made
In
for
here,
me and
said the
me.
bucket.
Go
and
into
me
this
and
dark
only
room
me.
over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
My bucket.
Now pick up the phone.
No.
Oh, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better.
What is happening?
But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy
Am I
that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Huh? What are you doing? Ah!
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last?
Well, sit down, boys and girls. We're
How
about to
can
learn
it be
about comedic
used to
timing.
effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body.
Why would you do
These
that?
are the optimal conditions
What
for
were they?
good comedic timing.
What?
To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm done
Let's
with the
practice
funny.
Screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
What is that
now.
face? I'm done with the funny. What the frick
Good.
am I doing?
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
It looks
Finally,
like a cross-eyed
it's
Skinner.
time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and
Oh.
should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely
Why does
die
someone
in
have
a
a human leg?
hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their
Oh.
children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
This went in a completely different direction from what I was
Thank
expecting.
goodness this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
These indies have just went absolutely crazy, and I love it. I was worried that this game was gonna like not hit the tones I was expecting, but no, they're hitting all my expectations. This is like pow, right out of the park. I'm happy to double dip on this game.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches.
I feel like as long as I had the
You'll
bucket-
say how ridiculous.
Is-
How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke.
What is he doing?
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No
Trying to
need
get
to
the voice.
overthink things.
The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. The bucket has spoken. Why am I doing this? I'm just following the narrator. It's just like, what am I doing? But yeah, as long as I have the bucket, it seems like the indies are changing. So I'm a little confused at how far this is gonna
Here
go.
we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Should I just go to the left? I can't remember if there was a different ending for doing that. I could misbehave. I could just listen to him. Let's just listen to him.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back
What?
to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be
No.
ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
I was
Here
trying
we
to
go.
behave.
You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
I'll go to the comedic timing. Haha. Oh ho, hee hee. Tra la la or some bullcrap.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
That video sucked.
Surely that will help me improve my...
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale... to describe a bucket. Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Okay, well, that was it. Well, at least it wasn't depressing as before. Before it was super depressing. Oh my gosh, but now it's like, hey, haha, bucket. Which, again, the bucket seems to be changing all the endings. I don't get it, but it's kind of hilarious at the same time.
Picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. It can't talk, but Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No, I didn't. I did whatever I want. This bucket don't control me. I control the bucket. For I have power. And bipedal legs. And thumbs. And the hand. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Wait.
Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh, new ending. Hold up. There's so many! As long as the bucket is in my hand, I'll find everything. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
That is a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Yes, that is clearly a bucket. Made for holding liquids and transferring. What the hell?
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Are you trying to fight me? This is how you start fights. We can fight right now.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes?
Correct. This is a bucket.
I knew a bucket was a bucket. If it's a bucket, if it carries water like a bucket, then it's a bucket. That is a truck.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No. What?
Correct. This is a tractor
I should say
and
yes.
not a bucket.
I messed
to
up.
be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
I should say yes. I'll spite. That's the same.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is
What?
a bucket.
Excuse you? How's that a bucket? That is a tractor. That was the same thing as the previous one. That is.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes?
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How? How? What the hell?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
This is some bullcrap. This is some malarkey. This is some... That's a bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Sure, why not? Nothing is a bucket.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
What?
I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay.
No.
Here we go.
No. You can't take my bucket from me. Without my bucket, what am I? You
What
evil
happened?
man.
Is everything gone?
Oh, you delete everything.
Why did
You
everything
suck.
disappear? Wait. Was
Lame.
everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And
Sure.
we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if
Yes.
you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Let's see what's
Stanley
over
took the door on his
here.
left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
See if there's any secrets. Secrets? Alright, well, we could actually go there. Or we go right here. Button, we got the button. Button, we got the button. Where we're gonna go, I don't really know because I'm pushing the button, and let's go find out.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Well, this is new.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I love how as long as you got this bucket, everything keeps changing. Let's see what happens when we go in the broom closet. Yeah, we remember the broom closet, don't we? It was a closet full of janitor equipment. The broom closet, the wonderful, wonderful broom closet. Okay, they ain't say anything. I love how the baby's there. All the days. So I'm thinking as long as we have the bucket, this is actually happening.
Whee! Look at that
Oh,
wacky
wow.
line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Ah, there it is, the silly music. Why is this?
Now this is
Hey.
what the Stanley Parable is all about.
I was enjoying the
Don't you
music.
remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I don't remember that
It's
part.
as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley.
I don't
Let's
remember
get
that.
them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
I'm not giving out the bucket. The bucket is mine and you can't take it. The bucket is just for me. So I think this is actually really Stanley Parable 2. I thought they were just like exaggerating, but this is definitely the content that we're getting
Don't you
here.
get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's
Now.
why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
The bucket destroyer?
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Not at all. Are you trying
Can
to
you
kill my
guess what
bucket?
the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
Never.
And then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
That's my bucket. You can't have it. You can't have my bucket. Let me out.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I
No.
don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one
gosh.
personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket
no.
Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game
I
can
think
you
it's about to
even
explode
say
because
that
it can't
about?
destroy
The
the
broom
bucket.
closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't
Never.
get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer
Oh,
until
my
you
goodness.
crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
No? Okay, well. The bucket destroyer got so mad, it took us all with it. Because we wouldn't feed it the bucket.
Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now.
It's just a bit.
Goodbye, new friend.
Why?
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
It's just. I'm very confused. I am very confused right now. It's not all that. It's just a device made to destroy a bucket. There's no way it's that complex. And no, right? We're just gonna pretend this didn't happen, huh? There we go. Back on track. Everything as well. Let's see. Secrets. Secrets. I got a secret. Anybody? There will be a reward for finding them all. Yes, we talking about the collectible. Trust the completionist instinct. What? It's all a conspiracy. Mission status. Places to search. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Somewhere built red and blue. Nearby a fireplace. A private but smelly place for an important person. There must be more. More collectibles. There will be a reward if we find them all. Well, I was told there was none. Maybe we are the collectibles. Okay, well. We're just gonna do this. Boop.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait,
It's
now
just
the
a bucket.
broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends, that your relationship is purely superficial
dare
and
you.
convenient, that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
I'll let you know that me and the bucket, we had a grand adventure. We've been to so many places. We've seen the Stanley Parable too.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Give me a chance.
Here we go.
Yes.
There. Now it's
Property
settled.
of Stanley.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
You heard them. Me and the bucket, we were meant to be forever. Never shall we be
All right,
parted.
I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket.
It's a bucket.
There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Are you gonna put another sticker if I stay in here? Now I'm curious. I mean, you won't let me like diss the
You
broom
know what?
closet. Oh,
I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
So, have you guys heard any good stories? Have you seen the Sonic 2 movie? Yeah, I know. It's just the narrator sometimes gets on my nerves, you know? He just keeps talking over me. He won't let me have a word. Yeah, the bucket is kind of cool. But you know what would be better? A weapon stick. A stick made for whacking all the peoples. Yes, a battle stick. Or maybe water to go in the bucket. Water to go in my bucket! Alright, I'm glad we, talked this over. We don't have to fight anymore. You guys have a good one. Gosh, there made you seem like you guys were dicks. Y'all fine. You cool. Alright, you guys have a good one. Me and Buckets are gonna head out. Ciao! Oh, let me close the door for you.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Stanley walked downstairs, you say? What is this downstairs? What's red? A collectible!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Stanlerine. Yeah. It's neat. We got Stanlerine. I'll collect Stan Collectibles. Alright, what we got?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's
it's
strange,
chill.
Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
This is my
else's
bucket.
bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all
No,
terribly
this is my
wrong.
bucket. Get
Surely
away.
no
My
good would
bucket.
come from this. Who knows what sorts of
What'd you do
bizarre
with my bucket?
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
He took my bucket.
Indeed. Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed.
my bucket back.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing
Bucket?
by one bucket
Wait,
after the next.
why are there so many
None
buckets?
of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to
Where's my
return to his
bucket?
old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful.
Oh,
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
the bucket hit me.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
I bet if she has a bucket, I'm
got
be
dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort
Why
and
is she
security,
in a
and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Please show that. Oh my god, that would be hilarious if they show that. What is with this game and the bucket? The bucket is not that great, but yet they keep talking about the bucket. Everybody has their own little bucket. Everybody's so crazy about the collectibles. This was it Stanley's? Hey, Stanley's in here?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did,
Oh.
you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Dang it. I was hoping to get some more stickers. Actually, my bucket's dirty. I don't
Coming
want
to a
stickers on it
staircase,
anymore.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, let's do this. Let's do it. Was that was the thing? Hello, hold up. Let's go in here. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. And the
I'm getting
collectible.
back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Not
What
Figlies.
name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Figlies is awful. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast time. With money on your plate, you can have money anytime. Vader. Bing, bing. Let's go to the new floors, to new possibilities. Wait a minute. I just remembered something. This elevator is a lie. All it does is vibrate. I remember that crap.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket,
My bucket.
and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Of course.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
I just hit it.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
There we go.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding
Why does it
him?
get so dark?
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Thank you, Bucket. You can never steer me wrong, as long as I have you in my arms. We'll find more collectibles. Ooh. Give me.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them
We have all of them.
You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can.
Ew, what the figure Alloleans? No, you better get out of here with that. That's just no. This is absolutely not. Give me this button. Button. We got the button. Let's go and see where it takes us. We know where it's gonna go, actually. Because we've done this before. It's all the same, except with a bucket. Apparently the bucket speaks to us and tells
The
us new
elevator
things.
raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to
bucket-ly
keep
fate.
himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him,
Comforting me.
reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
For as long as I have the
The
bucket,
bucket
everything
is
will
here
make
for you,
sense.
Stanley.
the
Everything
bucket.
will be fine.
Love the bucket. As long as we have our beautiful baby boy, we'll be good.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Screw you! We're going to
Although this
escape.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
No, we won't. The
The
bucket
door
will protect
behind
me.
them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Never. As long as I
At this
got the
point,
bucket.
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Nah, we'll be good. As long as we got the bucket will protect us all. The bucket is pure. The bucket is grand. With the bucket in my hand, nothing can defeat me. Watch, I just lose my bucket. Alright, we could just go to the same ending. Please, let this bucket do something stupid. Let it do something stupid.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Come on, bucket, save me. Save me, bucket. You can do it.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
I almost fell off. Or so they say, but in the end, the bucket actually saved my life. And that's the story I'm sticking to.
It
The
was
Stanley
a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Where'd my bucket go? He sacrificed himself for me. glorious bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. Oh my god, no, not the bucket. Why is it always the good ones that die?
Can you
What was
see
this?
how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
What is this game? Oh no. The bucket is more noble than Stanley. Oh, Stanley, if only you realize. It did sacrifice itself for me. Bucket. 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 Bucket.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. Man shall kneel before the bucket. Oh, great and powerful bucket. Thank you for taking and also sparing my life, gracing me with your noble presence. I will always remember you, not as a divine object, but as a comforting friend. In this troubling time, thank you, buckets, once again, for granting me this one task. Oh. I was expecting to fall down. Can I get the bucket? Yeah.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Get 2 buckets?
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Yes, let Stanley die so the bucket may live and reign supreme across the world. New bucket supremacy. What is this game?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I could rebel or I could actually behave. What should I do? Let's find out.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
Well, this is
Now,
new.
what to do next? Stanley wondered.
I did not know
Stanley
this
and
was
the
a thing.
bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a
How
sort
are we
of
doing this?
kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Where are we getting all this
But
stuff
it
from?
wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home.
You just
In
came
fact,
down
after
here
some
on accident.
time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning.
What is it to clean? How are we even
Unsettled
doing
the
this?
bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
What the hell's happening? All right, let me do the ending right, I suppose. I did not expect that crap to happen, but hey. Push the button. The light button.
Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
This is gonna be a picture of a bunch of buckets, I bet you. Watch. I bet you I'm right. If I'm wrong, then well, I don't know what this is giving.
The monitors jumped to life,
give you a thumbs up.
And Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
I just see the bucket go, no, what is this?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Oh my
but
gosh.
here was the proof.
Ah, here it is.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Should I do it? I can be good. I can just hit the on button. I can hit the off button. Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket.
Let's get the good
waited
ending.
in blackness. Was it over?
Was it over?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What?
Stop.
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room.
The one time I actually did the good thing.
Uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even
what is with the game of the bucket?
Recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket. Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
What was that ending? The hell? What? Why is that bucket so gosh darn important?
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
We're gonna hit this button now. We're gonna destroy the facility. I'm not destroy the facility. We're gonna try to take control of the facility and then end up destroying the facility on accident. Ooh.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
What?
Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Alright, so much for that. More birds. Birds!
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
What is that? Okay, you know what? Whatever. Not even gonna question. There's no point in questioning.
All of his co-workers, Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace.
The bucket is important for this.
Yet delicate, assertive, yet compassionate.
Yes.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
What the heck?
My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it. To go back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The
Aye-ya.
cargo...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked
might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
How poetic. I think it was like...
Stepping in.
There you go. Like stepping in. Nope. There you go. And then we leave. And now we should be getting a new ending. The escape pod ending from what I remember. But this time we got a bucket on our hands, so things could even change like crazy. We're gonna find out. Got my bucket in hand. Oh, wait. What's this? You are now leaving. Stanley and the bucket are going to begin their ways out of here by following the path. This door is now opening. Why? I guess we continue going up. I'm still waiting to see what happens because I'm sure something crazy is going to happen once I get to the top floor. Every time you have the bucket, it's just something insane. Because everybody loves the bucket. The bucket is reassurance. The bucket is pure and noble. It's whatever bullcrap they keep coming up with this stupid bucket. I don't understand why this bucket is so grand. It's just a bucket with a sticker on it that says property of Stanley. Maybe that's why. It's because it says the property of freaking Stanley. How high does this floor go? We don't have to be here anymore. Escaping the narrator and going out and finally the building that's so obsessed with the stupid bucket. Oop. Is he really about to do this? Why is he Why? Stop stroking the freaking bucket. It's a bucket. Just help the bucket escape. Why didn't he just grab the bucket and just go with it? What is this ending?
Someone you... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead, I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
And there we go. We got all the collectibles for some reason. I don't know what the point of this was. Brain, no work. Brain, no do things. What am I doing? Where's my purpose? This is new.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Alright, fine. Now remembering where Stanley found the collectibles. Oh, so beautiful. The Stanley Parable. The memory zone. I was expecting to be like a bunch of collectibles.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Now we got 7 of 6 collectibles. Why am I floating?
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Man, I don't know.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one.
I just
You
guessed.
picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
I don't believe that.
Let's see.
At all.
What came next?
What?
Oh, yes, we found a
This is
figure in
good.
this pink room. Oh,
No, we didn't.
I can't actually say I remember being in this room.
We've never been
but
here.
It's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
We definitely did not go in this place. What is this? What's happening? Ding ding.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly. In fact,
What?
because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh gosh. What's that over there? This did not happen. What is this? What? Are we on Windows? Windows Media Maker? Is that what we're on? Movie Maker, I think it was. You found it behind the boss's office. Thanks for watching. Oh my gosh. We're back in the freaking like late 90s.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Window open. Like absolutely radical, dude.
And then,
here's where
Stanley,
found the
then we
last
came
one.
to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
I wonder if you actually remembered me picking up in which order. Because yeah, that was the last one. What if I didn't pick that one up last?
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that was... All right.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how
Oh,
that
yeah.
feels.
More memories. Let's collect all the collectibles. Oh, yeah. We're going to get some
Okay,
more
yes, the room with
collectibles.
the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
You're addicted.
And
You're addicted
here's
to
where I made that
collectibles.
video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I love that video.
I thought he was actually gonna play the whole thing, but like in the same speed. And
Still
in this
don't
room that
remember
never
the pink
exists.
room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room though. A solid room.
This is a solid room. It is a solid room. A room we had no business being.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Hey, this is a reward enough. I mean, I get to see this whole silly ass screen. I got to see a radical video. Ooh, what happens if I go this way? Absolutely nothing. Well, so much for that. Hey, I saw a glitch.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Why do you care so much about these? This is how they get you. This is what achievements are.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figlarines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
This is purgatory. A purgatory of collectibles. He's got addicted to it. He got the collecting
It's the
fever.
terrible
Ooh,
new
jump circle.
content
Hold
that
up.
we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything.
You can let me jump.
In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how
You
much
let me jump?
fun the past is. I want more. More
I want more jumping.
memories.
More jumping. You would make me collect other stuff, but you won't let me jump again. Why are you like this? Just let me jump. It was fun. Damn it. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with jumping. It's Assassin's Creed all over again.
Oh, yes. The two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Yeah, but there's no jumping.
And before everything else, there was your office.
It is the office.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
How about my
There's
bucket?
something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Remember the bucket? Remember the bucket?
Yes, I'm remembering something now.
Oh,
I
wait.
remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
This feels like a Krez roll. Holy crud. That feels like a freaking actual ending. And yet it's not. And looky, Bucket's back. My good friend Bucket, get over here.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Hey. Guide me more, Bucket. Show me the way. I'm going back up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Because it's all about the bucket. The precious bucket, the bucket to me, for the bucket to the bucket. I don't know. I'm just saying bucket. I like saying the word bucket, okay? It's all about the bucket. Bucket. The B-U-C-K-E-T. The bucket.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely... Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
It's okay, bucket. We don't have to like the same things.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing. Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one. There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. It's bucket time. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. It's bucket time. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling...
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We're gonna be going to heaven together? Let's go, bucket!
No, the orders were still missing.
No, screw that. Welcome Stanley to heaven. Yes. This is where we're gonna be ending this.
Wait, there are 2 buckets here? How did you get a second bucket? Oh no, the warmth and comfort of a single bucket is already so great, so intoxicatingly wonderful. With 2 buckets, there's no telling. Stanley, can you still hear me? Are you with me? Stanley! Oh, thank God, I didn't lose you. Stanley, the power of 2 buckets was too much. I had to destroy both of them. I know how much the bucket meant to you, but I couldn't take the risk. I hope one day you can forgive me.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Wait, Stanley, I've just now realized. That bucket you're holding, it's the bucket I've been working on for my sequel. How did you get your hands on it? Isn't this the preview to the sequel? How do you have the bucket already? This makes no sense at all. Hold on. Did I already show you my ideas for the sequel? I don't remember doing that at all. You're seeing things all out of order. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle. The infinite hole, the giant door. Did you see them already? Stanley, none of them are ready yet. I'm still developing them. They're not even close to finished. How did they look when you saw them? Were they captivating? Were they exciting? Did they fulfill on the promise of everything that a sequel to Stanley Parable could possibly be? Had I figured out how the hell to make a sequel to this game? Wait, if you're still carrying the bucket around with you, if the bucket is interesting to you, that means I must have made it correctly. Yes, you carrying the bucket with you everywhere is exactly what I set out to accomplish. The bucket is the exciting and captivating new content that I promised. I did it! I win! I made a sequel to the Stanley Parable! Yes, the sign is correct. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Thank you for taking the bucket everywhere with you, clinging tightly to the bucket, never letting it go. It means I've won. It means I am victorious over the gamers. It is a sweet salve of victory on my soul. Thank you for enjoying the new content. The bucket is the Stanley Parable now. They are one and the same. There is no Stanley Parable without the bucket. I win, 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 I win.
And that was the Stanley Parable 2 or Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. This game really was, it was just a trip. Honestly, the perfect walking simulator. Its commentary is just fun, and honestly, the narrator, I love his voice. But yes, those who actually make it to the end, I appreciate you for watching the video, or if you just decided to skip around, I appreciate you too. If you like or you know any endings I missed, please let me know down below, and like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you later. You have a good night. Ciao. Voilà pourquoi maintenant j'erre dans la